Although this boy who was born with one eye is ugly in appearance, he is extremely powerful and cannot be invaded by water or fire. This is the scene where the gods and the Cyclops flatter each other. This camp is full of demigods like the boy. They live here without any struggle. But suddenly one day, a golden bull breaks through the defensive barrier of the shelter camp. The body made of a complete set of machines is unstoppable. As teenagers with the blood of God, they cannot escape the fate of being trampled by the bull. The bull breaks. Then he opened his mouth, and the flame core wantonly held the son of the sea god of fire, Percy, like a sword, and pulled out the red flag to attract the Taurus. However, the female Anna also took the opportunity to insert the spear into the body of the Taurus, but the indestructible steel structure of the Taurus instantly crushed the war spear into pieces. Anna's little cleverness not only failed, but also brought hatred to herself. Kara, the daughter of the god of war, took the opportunity to jump on the cow's back and tune quickly. This steel beast was thrown off in less than 3 seconds. When Taurus was angry, Pokey's brother Tyson grabbed the horns and Taurus spewed out flames again. However, it did not cause any harm to Tyson. His bloodline allowed him to ignore any fire attacks. Pokey Jianwei took action again. When the horns of the bull were about to freeze through his body, he threw the divine sword inherited from Poseidon and accurately hit the core of the golden bull. With a violent explosion, this crisis is finally over, but it's just an appetizer. After investigation, the laurel tree responsible for opening the barrier was poisoned by someone unknown. When the daughter of Zeus died, Zeus couldn't bear the loss of her flesh and blood, so he transformed her into a moon ghost. She used a new attitude to protect half of the world. The god's camp is like a moon ghost who has been poisoned and is dying. The location is the world's most dangerous Sea of Warcraft. The 100-eyed triangle. In order to save the Yogg tree, the 9 gods personally selected a group of demigod sons to go to the Sea of Warcraft. With such an adventure opportunity of their own, Percy and his friends naturally would not give up. The same goes for Kara, the daughter of the god of war. But although Kara is very good at fighting, she is too conceited and arrogant. In addition to dealing with various dangerous situations on this adventure, the most important thing is that Luke, who has been defeated, will also come back. But these are not a big deal to Posey and others. In order to save the mid-mountain camp, a group of people resolutely embarked on an adventure. Just spray this bottle of magic spray and the one-eyed boy suddenly became handsome and lively. It was the first time for the 20-year-old boy to see that he had 2 eyes. In order to get to the coast of Kunisi as quickly as possible, the others took the Hell To-Do car. Although the appearance of the tutu car was cool, they got on it as soon as they got on it. I regretted it, because the 3 sisters who were responsible for driving were all blind. They shared 1 eye to see the road and 1 foot to use floor oil. They started without any gear. Just when the car was about to hit a tree, the 3 sisters immediately turned on the separation mode. Posey's life was almost saved. In this small forest, the driving skills of the 3 sisters, although comparable to Emu, are far faster than Takumi. In 3 seconds, they arrived at Glorida, which does not support idlers. If it weren't for Percy and the others who had no money, the 3 sisters would have driven directly. Arriving at the Sea of Warcraft, just as Percy and others were about to rush to the beach, Luke suddenly appeared and prevented Xiao Yang from Glow. Only Glow knew the location of the island where the Golden Fleece was. In order to find Luke Posey, choose the most direct and easiest way to find parents. They found Hermos, the messenger god, and learned from him where Luke was. But when they arrived at the seaside, Luke had already escaped on the yacht. Body SC, Oxy, the son of God, was actually stopped by the sea. Tyson was unwilling to give up. He put his hand into the sea and prayed for his father's help. Percy thought he was wasting his efforts, and soon a mythical beast that was half fish and half horse was lifted up from the sea. Riding on a seahorse, several people quickly boarded Luke's yacht. Luke was anxious. Many monsters seemed to be plotting some plan here. Percy accidentally made a noise, and the Chimera, which was alerted in an instant, noticed that the scenery was suddenly in chaos. Percy and others were surrounded by ships. He told Luke what Helmo said and asked him not to be obsessed with it anymore. But Luke had gone crazy at this time. He showed everyone a coffin, where sleeping was the legendary god of the beginning, Cronus, the father of the 3 main gods, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Luke prepares to use the Golden Fleece to resurrect Cronus and use the power of the Titans to overthrow Olympus, thus establishing a new divine boxing. In order to prevent Locke and Bouquet from entering the Brain Yacht, but in the end, they couldn't defeat the crowd. They had to leave Grotto here temporarily. Anna and Tyson got on the escape boat and saw someone preparing to sink it with a crossbow. Percy immediately summoned waves to form a wooden wall. Anna took out a bottle from her backpack and unscrewed the cap, and a huge peak suddenly spurted out. They used the giant peak too with the thrust of Percy. He quickly evacuated as Percy rode the waves, but finally escaped Luke's pursuit. The boat advanced for an unknown period of time, and the water suddenly became deep and the sky was covered with black clouds. A shark fin slowly emerged from the sea. Then came the second and the third. Countless shark fins swam and sang near the boat. It was not until they got closer to Percy that they discovered that these were not shark fins at all, but the teeth of a huge sea monster. They rowed at no cost, but it was too late. The sea monster opened its huge mouth up to 1 kilometer long. The boat fell into the whirlpool like a fallen leaf, never to return to heaven. This proves that in the legend, the huge sea monster of Charybdis was cursed and exiled to this day, far away from Nanping, so it swallowed the seawater 3 times a day and swallowed the ships passing by. At the moment, the sole leader, Excision International, is about to try to control the sea, to escape the predicament. But no matter what, this is the Sea of Monsters, a piece of destiny that is swallowed up by the gods. The warship has lost power, and the zombie crew is working overtime to repair it. But there is not much time left for them at the moment. The Siren's digestive system is a super crusher that will crush the remains, and then grind them finely. It looks like they will be ground into powder. Pochi suddenly had an idea. He sat on the turret and shot desperately. The power system of the warship was also repaired at this time, as a large amount of seawater quickly poured into the sea monster. The warship of Sergeant Hercules escaped along the gap and ascended to the sky, being pressed by the deep sea. The warship surfaced at the last moment after being crushed by force. They did not fight or hit the ground, and came to the island where the golden wool was hidden. The Cyclops lives on this island, and the golden wool is on the giant's shoulders. Percy rescued the little goatman who became a prisoner of the giant. Then Tyson, who also had the blood of the Cyclops, was responsible for attracting the giant's attention. He and Posey worked together very easily and got the golden fleece. The emergency people fled quickly. The Cyclops roared and charged, but as a result, the cave collapsed and he sewed himself inside, although Luke suddenly appeared just when he thought the crisis was over for a few days. It placed the little goat people here just to sit back and enjoy the power of stupidity. Luke took out his sword and crossbow and shot at Boyac Sea. At the critical moment, Tyson flew to block the arrow and fell into the torrent. Bo hoped to lose his lost regiment and lost 7 years of grief, causing him to instantly lose the ability to fight. Offensively and defensively, the golden fleece was given to Luke. Luke succeeded and immediately moved in the priest to begin the great feat of resurrecting Cronus. As the golden wool fluttered on the priest, the golden light began to mix. Once Kronos is resurrected, the world will return to chaos. Thinking of this, Percy cheered up again. He used the divine sword to separate the restraints, and finally rushed forward to stop Luke from resurrecting the Titans. But on land, Percy's abilities couldn't be used at all. He could only watch helplessly as Kronos was resurrected. At the critical moment, Tyson suddenly knocked away Luke. Percy was so shocked that he couldn't believe that he also had the blood of Poseidon. Healing wounds with water flow is a basic operation. The brother was lost and recovered, but Percy had no time to be happy because at this time, the golden light of the divine pass defeated countless stones and gradually pieced them together into a human form. The initial death of the clone, Nazi, was successfully resurrected. How to appear in front of the public. Immediately PUWP. The family rushed to claim the merit, but was cloned in the next second. Knots is a tyrannical titan who loves to eat his ancestors' clones. Knots is unstoppable. Everyone in the crowd has been suffering since childhood, but only Posey understands that once the clone Knots leaves here, the whole world will suffer disaster. So he picked up his sword and struck it bravely at Cronus' ankle. As a result, with one blow of the sword, Cronus' body began to return to the spiritual state. Only then did Percy suddenly realize that the divine sword his father gave him was the sword that sealed Kalanos back then. When Kalanos saw the sky and the earth, he immediately spread out to attack Boji's treasure, and then the sword fell on his fragments. Seeing that the divine sword was about to fly high into the sky, Bogoxi held the divine sword tightly and cut Kalanos' body in half. Cronus, who had just been resurrected, was sealed by Sizong. Percy also successfully obtained the Golden Fleece and was resurrected. The more amazing thing is that the daughter of Zeus has been half-resurrected because of the power of the Golden Fleece. The mountain camp has once again added new members, and another queen of the three major gods has returned. His appearance is End Times. Percy Geek's lessons, the spell of the sea. Conditions, watch the index, concentrate on the work. Please add new points of attention. National Road, is it still a disaster when he appears many times? Porky Jackson and the Hex of the Sea, miss watching index 3-star office. Use the message center click to follow welcome to watch the Minglu.